It was a warm Tuesday afternoon when my quiet cul-de-sac in Oak Ridge Estates turned into a scene straight out of a crime drama. I just pulled into my driveway, arms full of grocery bags, when three police cruisers roared in, tires screeching, blocking the street. Four officers jumped out, guns drawn, barking orders so fast I could barely keep up. On the ground, hands where we can see them. Now, my heart slammed against my ribs as the paper bags slipped from my hands, oranges rolling down the asphalt like they were fleeing the chaos. Before I knew it, I was face down on my own driveway, the cold bite of handcuffs snapping around my wrists. Neighbors peeked through blinds, some stepping onto porches, whispering. "What's going on?" I stammered, my voice shaking. "What did I do?" I'm Marcus Hayes, a 38-year-old IT security consultant, a retired Marine with 2 tours in Afghanistan under my belt. I'm not exactly the menacing type, glasses, cardigan sweaters, the whole deal. But there I was, pinned to the concrete while an officer muttered something about a 911 call claiming an armed man threatening residents. My stomach dropped. The only weapon I had was my legally owned Glock concealed under my jacket, holstered tight, same as it had been every day since I got my permit 3 years ago. I hadn't touched it, hadn't even thought about it. I was just trying to get my groceries inside. After 20 agonizing minutes, neighbors gawking, my pride crumbling, the cops finally checked my concealed carry permit and driver's license. They confirmed I lived here, right at 247 Oak Ridge Lane. The cuffs came off, and the officers started apologizing, their voices low, almost embarrassed. As I rubbed my wrists, I glanced across the street and saw her, Linda Carver, our HOA president, the woman everyone called Karen, behind her back. She stood there, arms crossed, lips pursed, looking like she'd just lost a bet. Her eyes met mine for a split second before she turned away. Our trouble with Linda started the day my wife, Emily, our daughter, Zoe, and I moved into Oak Ridge 3 months ago. Emily's white, I'm black, and Zoe's our bright, basketball-low, VYing 10-year-old. The MOVYing truck was still unloading when Linda marched over, clipboard in hand, to welcome us. She handed Emily a 70-page binder of HOA rules, lawn care, paint colors, trash pickup, times, her voice dripping with authority. She barely looked at me, even though I was the one signing the papers. "We run a tight ship here," she said, her smile as fake as a plastic plant. "Some neighborhoods let things slide. Not Oak Ridge." Her eyes lingered on Zoe's bike, propped on the lawn. "Toys must be stored by sundown." Section 23, paragraph 4. "No, welcome to the neighborhood. No, here's the best pizza joint in town." Just rules and a VYB that screamed, "You don't belong." Within a week, we got 3 violation notices, all signed by Linda. One for Leah VY-ing our trash bin out until 7:30 p.m., 30 minutes past the mandated time. Another for Zoe's basketball hoop being VY-sible from a street. And a third for our MOVYing boxes, stacked in the open garage, which apparently VY-olat some rule about non-automotive items in a carport. Each came with a fine schedule, like a threat hanging over our heads. Meanwhile, our next-door neighbor's trash cans sat out all night. Nothing. The guy across the street had a rusty pickup in his driveway for a week. Linda didn't bat an eye. But if our sprinklers ran 5 minutes too long? Violation. A package sat on our porch for an hour? Violation. Emily suggested we attend an HOA meeting to get a feel for the place. We were the only black family there. Linda ran the show like a drill sergeant, shutting down questions and rushing through the agenda. When I asked about the inconsistent rule enforcement, her smile tightened. "Perhaps you'd feel more comfortable in a different kind of neighborhood if our standards are too high." The room went quiet. I felt every eye on me, but I just nodded and sat down. Things got worse the week before the police incident. I was watering some new shrubs in our front yard when Linda power walked by with 2 other HOA board members. "Some people just don't get property values," she said loudly, her voice carrying. "They drag everyone else down." Her friends nodded, one whispering something that made them all chuckle. I kept my head down, but the message was clear. I was the problem. The day of the 911 call, I had no idea Linda was watching me from her Lee VY in-room window as I parked and grabbed my groceries. Later, I got a copy of the police report. She told 911 a threatening-looking man with a gun was VYing a weapon and menacing the neighborhood. She called me aggressive and possibly on drugs. Me, the guy who wears loafers and listens to jazz on his commute. The truth? I walked from my car to my front door, bags in hand, my gun still holstered, untouched. Thank God for neighbors with doorbell cameras. 3 had footage showing exactly what happened. Nothing. Just me, carrying groceries, minding my business. Mr. Thompson, a retired judge who lived 2 houses down, marched over with his VY Deo before the cops even left. "This is outrageous," he told the officers, holding up his phone. "This man did nothing wrong." The police body cam footage and Linda's 911 call audio hit the local news, and suddenly, my humiliation was a headline. HOA president's false 911 call sparks outrage. CIVYL writes lawyers called, offering to represent me. What started as a personal nightmare was now a public reckoning. Reporters dug into Linda's past and found a pattern. Over 3 years, she called the cops on 4 other residents, all black or Latino, for things like barbecuing or VYing guest park on the street. 2 families had moved away after relentless harassment. One former resident shared a journal documenting 30 instances of Linda's targeted violations. The HOA board, spooked by the growing scandal, held an emergency meeting. The clubhouse was packed, with folks wearing Oak Ridge for All buttons. Linda sat alone at the board table, her usual allies nowhere in sight. For 3 hours, neighbors shared stories of her selective enforcement and intimidation. The board voted to suspend her and hired a firm to audit 5 years of HOA actions. My lawyer filed a CIVYL suit against Linda and the HOA for defamation, emotional distress, and violating fair housing laws. The district attorney, under pressure from the public, opened a criminal investigation. 3 days after the meeting, 2 officers showed up at Linda's house, not with a violation notice, but with handcuffs. She was charged with filing a false police report, misuse of emergency SARE VYCES, and making false statements to law enforcement. With possible hate crime enhancements, she faced up to 3 years in prison and due law $25,000 in fines. As she was led to the patrol car, neighbors watched in silence. The woman who'd ruled our street with petty tyranny looked stunned, her eyes wide, realizing no one was coming to save her. That moment, Linda in handcuffs, the neighborhood watching, wasn't just about her. It was about every time someone's been judged, targeted, or pushed out for who they are. My family's still here, and we're not going anywhere. But I can't help wondering, how many Lindas are out there, hiding behind clipboards and fake smiles? And what's it going to take to stop them? So what do you think? Was Linda just a power-hungry HOA tyrant, or was something deeper DRIVYing her actions? Should she face the full 3 years in prison, or is there another way to make things right? Have you ever dealt with someone like her in your neighborhood? Drop a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe to join the conversation. Let's talk about what justice really looks like.